Kind enough to give some time. MAAA Hall of Fame inductee 2024, Bobby Hall. Coach Hall, it's an honor to be sitting across from you. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, thank you, and it's an honor for me to be here.
Hey, congratulations on the Hall of Fame induction. You know, when you say Mississippi high school football, you're one of the first names that come to mind. Obviously, you got South Panola. You got the big programs that have come through, but when you talk coaches, you talk to other coaches that have come after you, they all reference your life, your career, what you have done for Mississippi high school football, and that shows up here today with the Hall of Fame.
Well, thank you. I'm honored that you would say that. I'm somewhat humbled that you would say that. I did it for 40 years, something that the only thing I ever wanted to do. As when I was 14 years old, I knew what I wanted to do. And so, you know, I had great passion for it, and consequently I put a whole lot into it, and God gave me a gift to be able to get people to do what I want them to do, and he gave me great passion. So, you know, it worked out good, and we had a lot of success, and I'm grateful.
Take us back to the beginning. You know, like you said, you wanted to do this when you were 14. 14 years old, I know exactly where I want to be. I know where God wants me to be, and this is what I'm going to do. The game has changed so much. Talk about that. And, you know, we saw this with Nick Saban last week when he retired, and talking a little bit about the evolution of football, having to adjust and do. That's something that always happens with football, isn't it?
Okay. You know, college football, I'll start out with it. College football in the very near future under the current setup, and I'm not Nostradamus by any stretch of the imagination, but under the current setup, it won't be long before college football will evolve to just the people that have a lot of money, because it's all about money now. And there's no cap, there's no, you know, it's actually professional sports at the college level.
Yep.
And so, and it's not, I mean, there's certain schools that obviously just have more money than other schools, and it's always been that way. So it's as uneven a playing field right now as it's even more uneven, I think, than it was back in the 60s and 70s when Oklahoma and Alabama and people like that were signing 150 people or whatever they were signing.
Sure.
They signed as many as they wanted to. And that created a very uneven playing field. If you remember, the NCAA reduced the scholarships till they eventually got it down to 85, and it evened things back up again. So, you know, hopefully something will be done about it, and if they don't, we'll all move on and live and be happy and live our lives and roll on with it.
Bobby Hall on your radio, 2024 inductee to the MAAA Hall of Fame, talking college football and, of course, football and his career. Coach, when you look at the high school ranks, I don't know that we envisioned this, but, you know, you can go back. I graduated high school in 1994, MHSA guy down in Rankin County, and I can remember it was interesting just to see your name in a paper if you just scored a touchdown or something. Now we've got live streams, we've got radio coverage, we've got events like this where administrators and coaches get together. High school football has come a long way in the state.
It's unbelievable the way, you know, the things that, you know, when I received my award just a few moments ago and I talked about, you know, some of the all-sports trophies that we won at different schools. And one year at Amory High School, we were a 3A school, and they didn't have the different classifications then. And Amory finished third in the state behind Tupelo and Madison Central. It was Madison Central, Tupelo, and us. And so, you know, they didn't even – but now, you know, we do just a much better job today with – almost every aspect of coaching, especially with the safety, with the teaching, and all those things that we do has just made it all, I think, a much better game.
No, I would agree with you. Take us back through some of your teams, some of your coaches, where you coached, obviously, some of those memories that kind of highlight. And I know it's not fair to try to say this team was better than this team or these players, but just to kind of take us through that.
Well, we won 4 state championships, had 2 runner-ups, went to the semis 12 times. In 1987, we broke Rosedale's 40-game win streak, and we went to the finals that year and lost to Mendenhall. That game was a one of the biggest games. I thought it kind of put Amory High School on the map at the time because they had won back-to-back state titles and 40 games in a row, and it was pretty much a given that nobody in 3A was going to beat them. We beat them 29-28 in overtime. And I've said this many times, we could have played them 10 more times. I don't think we would have beat them a time, but we beat them that night, and that was all that mattered. So that was big. And all of the teams. We had some teams that didn't win it all that I thought was just as good as some of the teams that did win it all. So that 95 team, it's been rated as one of the best high school football teams of all time in the state of Mississippi. And some people say, yeah, well, you wasn't 5A, you wasn't 6A or whatever. But I would say this: go back and research how many people that we had off of that team that signed Power 5 scholarships. And then you go back and you look also on that team, the guys that signed scholarships that wasn't Power 5. For some reason, Amory just went through a phenomenal amount of talent that time, and it was a great, great football team. I tell people that team was so talented, all I did was gas the bus and air the balls.
I remember that team well because I was just a year out of high school, and everybody was talking about Amory and what Amory was doing, what you guys were doing up there. And you're right. I mean, you could say – pound for pound, if you could put it in some sort of a video game where you're playing eras, that team would be one of the best in Mississippi, if not the best. An
article came out. Time gets away from us. 15 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever, in the Clarion Ledger, back when we all still used to read the newspaper, and they rated the 10 best teams in the history of the state, and Amory was in that conversation. So I was proud of that.
Bobby Hall joining us for a few minutes today, MAAA Hall of Fame inductee 2024. Coach, obviously, you look at some of the coaches that you had a chance to bring up under you, from Marcus Boyles to several others. Talk a little bit about that and kind of the Bobby Hall coaching tree that is out there in Israel.
Wow, that coaching tree is I was the second winningest public school coach in the history of the state behind a gentleman by the name of Jim Drury from Boonville. And then the next winningest guy is Marcus Boyles, and he's going to pass me pretty soon. And quite frankly, I'm perfectly fine with that. When I went to Raleigh in 1980, me and Will Hall's mother, when we went down there, I was 25. It was my first head job. She was 24. Will Hall was 10 weeks old. Marcus Boyles was a ninth grader. I always can keep up with his age because I was 25 and he was 15. And so I coached him all 4 of his years there, and he's become one of the greatest high school football coaches in the history of this state. You got Toby Collum. That's at Madison Central now. I gave him his first job at Wayne County, and you can just go on and on and on the amount of people that are out there that either played for me or coached with me that have gone on to be high school coaches that are having success. I think all of them's doing good. I can't think of anybody that's not doing good.
No, I would agree with that. And then, Mississippi, and I say this a lot, especially when we have the state championships, we get a chance to work the kind of the red carpet there and talk in between games and stuff, is the history of Mississippi high school football is so special. From just what you referenced, like your coaching tree, your teams, you get into the communities like Louisville, Starkville, even now what's going on in Metro Jackson with Brandon and Madison Central, and all these teams. Mississippi high school football just continues to grow in the best of ways, and a lot of that is credit to what you guys did.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. And Brandon and Madison Central have 2 of the great programs in this state. And ironically, I got to say this, Brandon's offensive line coach, his dad was Ed Stanley, who was my defensive coordinator for 7 years, and I gave him his first job. And, of course, he went on and won state titles, at South Panola, and took Meridian to the finals. A very, very dear friend of mine. So, I love this state. I love Mississippi. I think we're a very well kept secret. I'm very, very fond of the quality of football we play in this state. We don't have the tax dollars. We don't have the population, 2.9 million people. But per capita, we're as good as anybody in the country.
100% agree. Bobby Hall, MAAA Hall of Fame inductee today. Coach Hall, again, congratulations, and thank you for taking some time with us today.
Thank you for asking me. God bless you.